So the first insurrectionist who was convicted at trial was sentenced today to 7 years in prison. The Department of Justice continues to go after the boots of the insurrection, but it's time to start holding accountable the suits of the insurrection. Let's talk about that, because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So the first insurrectionist who was convicted at trial, Guy Reffitt, was sentenced today to a little more than 7 years in prison. Prosecutors had asked for 15 years. Here's today's reporting from the Washington Post. Headline: First January 6 defendant convicted at trial, sentenced to more than 7 years. And that article begins: the first U.S. Capitol riot defendant convicted at trial was sentenced to more than 7 years in prison Monday, the longest punishment handed down to date in the January 6, 2021 attack on Congress. Guy Reffitt, a recruiter for the right-wing Texas Three Percenters movement, was convicted March 8th of 5 felony offenses, including obstruction of Congress as it met to certify the 2020 election result, interfering with police, carrying a firearm to a riot, and threatening his teenage son, who turned him in to the FBI. Prosecutors said Reffitt led a mob while armed at the Capitol and asked the judge to sentence him to 15 years after applying a terrorism sentencing penalty. I should add that it's a terrorism sentencing penalty that the judge declined to apply. You know, it's interesting, friends. Just a couple of weeks ago, I attended Steve Bannon's entire contempt of Congress trial in federal district court in Washington, D.C. You know what was going on in the very same courthouse while the media was covering the Bannon trial? Other insurrection trials that barely registered with the media. You know, I guess we should start calling them routine insurrection trials. That sounds wrong, doesn't it? Sounds incongruous. Routine insurrection trials. But that's where Donald Trump has taken our nation. And it's where he continues to take our nation unimpeded. You know, there's a deep injustice at play at this very moment. And let's refer to it as the boots and the suits. Not original. I saw somebody else say it. I would give attribution if I knew who said it first. But I think it nicely characterizes the injustice at play at this moment, the boots and the suits. What are the boots? That's the angry mob that Donald Trump lied to, deceived, whipped up into a frenzy, convincing them that their vote had been stolen, their election had been stolen, their president had been stolen, and if they don't go to the Capitol and fight like hell, they won't have a country anymore. So they need to go down to the Capitol and stop the certification. And the boots complied. They obeyed the orders of their commander, their leader, Donald Trump. And the boots are being held accountable every day. They're being indicted, prosecuted, convicted. Many of them are being imprisoned. What about the suits of the insurrection? The command structure of the insurrection, the political insurrectionists, the privileged insurrectionists, the wealthy insurrectionists, like Donald Trump, John Eastman, Jeffrey Clark, Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell, Roger Stone, Steve Bannon, Mike Flynn, Mo Brooks, Mark Meadows, Ginni Thomas, all of the members of Congress who participated in the insurrection, and so many others. The suits of the insurrection, the privileged insurrectionists. Not 1 minute of accountability has visited any of them. while hundreds and hundreds, indeed approaching 1,000 boots of the insurrection are being held accountable, prosecuted, convicted, many of them imprisoned. Friends, that is a deep injustice at play right now in our nation. Because if not equal justice, then there's no justice at all. And justice matters. So it's time for DOJ to take some overt law enforcement action against the suits of the insurrection, not just the boots. Let's hope that's coming soon, like tomorrow, or in the coming days, or in the coming weeks. Friends, as always, please stay safe, please stay tuned, and I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.